Well, Robin, it's a wonderful summer's day on Lake Ontario. First to the south, Niagara Falls pours its millions of gallons of water into the lake. And to the north, 90 miles, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, with its Sky Dome and the CN Tower, the tallest man-made structure in North America. And not far away, a racetrack, an exhibition place, as ABC's Wide World of Sports is ready to cover for the very first time the North American Touring Car Championship. The cars are already sitting on the straightaway, ready for the start here. And what you're going to see is the network television debut of this exciting new series. They've already raced this year at Lime Rock in Connecticut, in Portland, in Detroit. And it's an idea that really started here in America and went over to Europe and has now bounced back. Dan Sullivan, the touring cars in Europe are really something to see.
Well, they're the rave in Europe. These things are the hottest thing going. They're 2-liter. They're open to any manufacturer's got a 2-liter car. That's approximately 120 cubic engines. They are fast. They're furious. A lot of banging. This is close racing.
And it's a series that you thought about getting in.
Absolutely. I think it's great racing, especially with all the manufacturers in it. It's something I've considered owning the team.
Well, what about these cars? What are they? Let's go now to Gary Terrell.
Well, Paul, this looks very much like a production model that you and I could easily be driving on the streets. But make no mistake, this is a thoroughbred race car. Here's your first tip-off. The aerodynamic package includes this rear spoiler. There are a lot of similarities to your passenger car, including the same kind of steel body, same kind of glass in the windows. You've got turn signals and headlights that are all operational. But underneath the hood, now we're starting to get real racing. A 2-liter, 4-cylinder engine capable of 300 horsepower, straightaway speed, 160 miles per hour. Greatly modified racing suspension that you can't see that well. But around the corner, you'll also see specially designed racing wheels, and take a look at these big brakes down inside. Now, once you get inside this car, you won't find the creature comforts of your passenger car. Your first tip-off, full support roll cage. Now, this happens to be a left-hand drive model. There are many right-hand drive versions in this series. To the right of the driver, the data acquisition computer system. Also, a 6-speed sequential gear shift just like you'd find in an Indy car. Price tag on the production model, under $20,000. Want one of these? Minimum $200,000.
Well, there are the cars as they sit ready to go for the North American Touring Car Championship Round 7. We'll be back live to see these magnificent machines and some very excited drivers after these messages and a word from our ABC station.
Watching ABC's Wide World of Sports.
We're back live as the cars have already started their reconnaissance lap. They use a standing start, so here's the way they line up on the pole. It's Dominic Dobson and Donohue. One at Lime Rock and at Detroit. Randy Pope from the Honda Accord is alongside the winner of both races at Portland. In the second row, it's Ron Millen in the Toyota, the winner at the Pikes Peak Hill Climb in an entirely different series. And David Donohue, the son of Mark Donohue. He won the first race of the series. In row 3, Jaron Waugh, who had a problem getting started but is underway now. And FORREST GRANLUND, Speed Petty, and Ed DeLong make up the 4th row. The 5th row, European Nigel Smith in the Opal, and Peter Hardman and Jim Kenzie. Alone in row 6, Jeff Andretti was not able to qualify as a result of an accident yesterday. Here's the track, Dan Sullivan.
Well, it's a very interesting track, but we've got a few changes from last year. It goes through turn 9, 10, and then a long straightaway into 11. That's where we're going to see a lot of passing into 1 and down into 3.
All right, they are in their position for a standing start. That's Dominic Dobson on the far left of your screen. The yellow car is Randy Pope. And that's Millen, kind of sits between them. He is back in the second row, watching for the green light. Engines start to come up. And here we go. The Super Touring Championship is underway for the North American Touring Car Series. And Dominic Dobson sweeps across the front, takes the lead. That's Donohue on the outside, trying to slide into 3rd place as Millen comes into 2nd. Three-way battle for 2nd. Randy Pope right now sits in that bright yellow car just behind Dave Donohue. This is the first long straightaway and one of the first key passing areas as everybody fights for position. Let's Randy Pope, he's pushing David Donohue all the way through the corner. Now you're on board. Randy Pope's car, that's David Donohue just ahead. Ahead of him is Millen, and then the teammate to David Donohue, Dominic Dobson, leads it. Gary Gerald?
For Darren Law, a man who won one of the races at Detroit this year, sits here in the car. The crew's been working on an electronic gremlin problem. They've been blowing a fuse. They get the car started, but it won't stay running. So a man who's won in this series this year, totally frustrated right now. His crew desperately trying to get him out there, but they're about to complete lap number 1, Paul.
David Donohue, son of the great Indianapolis champion, now tries to challenge Rod Millen. This is a battle for second place. Randy Pope, that bright yellow car, has dropped back just a bit. Here comes the Dodge along the inside.
Randy Pope has to be very frustrated. He's qualified on the front row, dropped back to 4th.
Back on board, Randy Pope. Again, that battle for second place continues just ahead. They almost touch coming into turn 1. Starting lap 2, 25-minute timed race.
Rod Millen told me earlier that these front-wheel drive cars take a lot of getting used to, particularly in the early laps. Cars take a lot of getting used to, particularly in the early laps, because they've got no temperature in the rear tires, so they can be a little bit loose.
Boy, it looks like David Donohue gets it done now as Millen and Pope come side by side. Donohue comes fast, so does Randy Pope. The top of the order changes. Dominic Dobson is still the leader. His teammate David Donohue now to second, and then Randy Pope. On board Millen's car. On board Randy Pope, looking back toward Millen's Toyota. Sequential gearboxes there?
No, they use, some of them are sequential, some of them are straight shift. Some of these cars, don't forget, are not 1996 spec. They're a little bit older cars, some of the vintage, so they have old gearboxes. Some of them are sequential.
Meantime, a little further back. Challenge there. And still unresolved. Front of the field, first 4 stick together.
Some of the things you see there, the drivers are sitting, as you're looking at it, some on the left and some on the right. Some of these cars have come out of the British Touring Car Championship, and even as far away as Australia, they're the left, sitting on the left side. Of course, the two at the front, the Dodges, are right-hand drive.
Two of the cars battle back here. These are the Honda Accords that are coming up through the field. You're now on board Dominic Dobson. At the front of the field, of course, he has the advantage of not having to fight any traffic whatsoever.
Looks awful comfortable in there.
Background in Indy cars. You mentioned the side of the car they sit on, some on the left, some on the right. In the Dodges, to the left, but a little more toward the center.
Yes, I think that's because it was a purpose-built chassis. It's actually built by Renard in England, who built, of course, the Indy cars. And they wanted to get that weight distribution more toward the center.
The battle here is not just between drivers, it's also quite obviously a manufacturer's championship. Dodge and Honda key in that fight right now. And now we understand that Darren Law has been able to get it fired. There he is. And with the help of some of the security guards, he gets going, Gary?
Yeah, they're pushing him backwards now, and he keeps revving the engine. It was dying earlier. Now they've got it going. He keeps flipping that throttle, wants to get out there and get some laps, even though he's lost considerable amount of time. We'll get him back out on course here for the first time. Here's Darren Law ready to go.
There's the view down on the exhibition place here in Toronto. You can see the two white cars at the front. Those are the PacWest teammates, Dominic Dobson, David Donohue, and then Randy Pope, followed by Millen, and then a nice little fight developing between the two Hondas of FORREST, GRANLUND, and Peter HARDMAN. HARDMAN is the one with the yellow stripe on the nose of the car. GRANLUND has a red thunderbolt almost down the right side of the car. Back to the front stretch.
Well, I think it's a real credit to these guys. You know, they've all put this together late. The series started, as you can see, there's not as many cars as they'd like out there. They've picked these cars up from all over the world. Some of them are brand new. They've never run this type of cars. They've come here. They've done very little practice. Some of them not on street circuits before, and they're out there giving us a great show.
4 laps are complete now, 4.5. As they turn back along the south side of the run here alongside Ontario Place. That's really Lakeshore Boulevard in Toronto that they're just making the turn off of, closed for this weekend of races.
From that overhead shot, they look like they're closing a little bit on the leader, Dominic Dobson.
Well, very definitely Randy Pope is closing up on second place David Donohue. That's, of course, tremendous experience in the IndyCars. In fact, was involved with you, Danny, for the past couple of years at Pac West.
Yes, he was. He drove there, and then I replaced him, and he was one of the managers.
So in the North American Touring Car Championship Round 7, Dominic Dobson is the leader, followed by his teammate, David Donohue. We'll be back. We're back for the North American Touring Car Championship live from Toronto, Canada, the exhibition place. You're on board Randy Pope now up toward the front of the field. Here's how he got there. Just forced his way down inside David Donohue.
Look at Donohue. He comes right back along him. That's a really tricky section. Side by side up here. He's going to try to squeeze in. Donohue's not giving any of it up, and he's got the right line going through the next corner. The only person, of course, this helps is the at the front, Dominic Dobson, because it gives him time to pull away just a bit.
So Randy Pope continues his pursuit of David Donohue. You'll notice on these on-board shots, the tires aren't the big, wide racing slicks that you see in some other series. They're Michelin tires, usually built for the series, and only about 9 inches wide.
That's right, but I think that's what, here we go again. He's going down the inside. He's going to try it again. Inside the last couple of laps.
Randy Pope moves to the inside, and this time that's a pretty decisive pass.
Oh, great shot there. Just see Donohue give him a little tap right in front. Another one.
And this is exactly what they hope out of this series. Some good rough and tumble racing. Red yellow car, Randy Pope, David Donohue behind, Dominic Dobson the leader. Red yellow car, Randy Pope, David Donohue behind, Dominic Dobson the leader. Randy Pope had a string of 38 consecutive laps in the lead as a result of his win at the 2 races held in Portland. An interesting format. They used it there, where they have one race, stop down for a mere 15 minutes, go into a qualifying order that has been predetermined for a second race. It's for a pressure-packed weekend. But in the whole series, none of those races connect with one another. Each of them is its own race standing alone.
And I've done a little bit of that in Europe, Paul, and the great part about that is if you have a problem in the first race, it gives you a chance in the second race to still score some points.
There's the leader, relationship back to second and third. Pope, Donohue, and comes Millen, looking back from Pope to Donohue. So that lead that Dominic had, I think they're whittling away on it. Just over 10 minutes into the 25-minute run now.
Now what Pope has to do here is he's really got to focus on Dominic Dobson's front, not worry too much about Donohue, and see if he can close that gap.
Dodge Honda Dodge at the front of the field. The Honda really should have a bit on power on the Dodges. As one car off the edge. Well, that's Jim Kensey, who's starting his first race in the series, and apparently has a problem that pulls him off in one of the new areas on this racetrack. They've done a lot of work on this circuit over the past year, and whoa,
that looks like that's probably why it pulled off. That looks like somebody's looks like one of his wheels on fire.
The lead tightens up now, and the battle between FORREST, GRANLUND, and Peter Hardman continues. Back at the front, there's that battle. Boy, take a look at that.
Boy, he is really
right. That's Peter Hardman.
Sorry to jump in. He had really closed up there, Paul, on him in one lap.
These two guys have been fighting back and forth throughout the series. In fact, the whole group has. It's been such a tight battle at the front. We're at the halfway point. Boy, now Pope is all over the back end of Dominic Dobson. So with those little tires, do these cars have a tendency to slide?
They do, particularly with their front-wheel drive, and to get that back end to work, you've got to stiffen it up. And if you stiffen it up, you get the tires not to work quite as well. They're all learning as they go along.
So it's Dobson, POBST, David Donohue, Millen, then HARDMAN, then FORREST GRANLUND, who came up from the back of the field. Let's go, Gary Gerald.
Paul T.C. Klein is the owner of the car driven by Randy POBST. Now, I understand you made a change to get a benefit of the horsepower on the long straightaway. What kind of a change did you make?
Well, what we decided to do was we just put a slightly taller 6th gear in the car, hoping that when we're drafting someone on the long back straight, that we have a chance to duck inside of them. We're hitting about 142 miles an hour before we hit the brake zone.
Have you got enough muscle at this point to win this thing, you think?
We definitely have the muscle. We definitely have the driver. We're very excited, so we're looking forward to the new speed, of course, coming in first.
Time's running out, however.
Well, but Randy POBST is climbing all over the back end of Dominic Dobson. You saw him light the brakes heading into one of the corners, and he's just looking for racing room, and Dominic knows that he is there. There's absolutely no question about that. So Randy POBST continues in his battle. We take a look at how the rundown at the front of the order looks, with Dominic Dobson, followed by POBST, and then David Donohue. Again to the pit straight. There comes Millen. There comes that other battle between the two Accords. And they continue to stay very tight at the front. Now with 10 minutes to go in the race. POBST looking him close in. He just inches closer and closer. Dobson on the brakes early. POBST swings wide, keeping momentum up. So Dominic Dobson is still the leader, but Randy POBST is on the charge. We are live here in Toronto, and we'll be back for the finish after these messages and a word from our ABC station. Cars finally made it through to the front. Randy POBST was able to work his way around Dominic Dobson. Here's how it happened, and it was a spectacular pass at that.
Coming down that long back straightaway, that top gear is obviously working. He just gets around him on the outside. Dominic goes back up, side by side, little nudge there. But you know what? He needed to force his way in there. Once I think Randy got in the front, he's going to pull away.
As we come back live now down the pit straight one more time, Randy POBST, we're now counting down toward the end of the race. About 6 laps to go in the run here. Dominic Dobson falls to second. And Randy POBST, with that Honda power, is looking so very strong and should now begin to pull away. That will probably create for us an interesting Dodge-Dodge battle between Dominic Dobson and David Donohue. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't look like Dobson is really giving up. He is trying to find anywhere that he can make up time on Randy POBST. See if he gets restarted. That, of course, is FORREST GRANLUND, the 62 car. He's trying to get it back on the course now. Now, he's got some power. He just wants a little push backward. And here's how he got in trouble with Millen pushing him from the back. That's too bad, because this whole story around FORREST GRANLUND, that car right there, the 62 car, it's a Honda that is put together by a bunch of people who work for Honda in Ohio, engineers and everything. And we get a full course yellow. So they're going to slow the entire field here. Clock will continue to count. Gets a group of engineers to work together, work for Honda, and then race the cars as well.
It's got to be fun. That really shows they like their product, they enjoy the racing, and you can't ask for a better group of guys than to have a bunch of engineers putting the car together. What this is going to do now, though, with this full course yellow, is if they get it together real quick, it's going to bunch the field back up, and I guess Dominic Dobson might have another go with Randy Pope.
Yeah, it's definitely going to put everybody on top of each other. The report is debris on the track, perhaps part of that situation involving Jim Kenzie and his BMW when he got into the wall. And as they come back around, we'll see a green flag. So the course workers here have done a great job in getting the circuit back ready for racing. And they'll come to the green flag. Honda, Dodge, Pope, Dobson, Donohue. Rest of the order. Ron Dillon sits in fourth, and HARDMAN, Steve Petty in his BMW up to sixth. Nigel Smith in seventh, and Ed DeLong and Forrest GRANLUND is finally able to get back into the action in ninth place. Darren Law is out and running, but with that poor showing at the start, is 3 laps behind the race. So here we go now, 3 laps to run to the end of time. A little surprised that they didn't, that Dominic didn't try to bunch up a little closer.
Well, I think what happened was he was probably thinking they were going to have that full Courcelles, that they were going to get behind the pace car, and I don't think that Randy slowed down at all. I think he kept the pace going.
Gary Gerald?
Paul, it was interesting because the safety car actually started to roll away down here and got out almost to the racing line with the yellow lights on. Then the lights came on, and the car backed into position when we heard they were going to go green on that next time by. It's exactly what they did. I don't know if there was a miscommunication as far as Post and Dobson were concerned, but Dominic missed a great opportunity there to really close in and have a shot on the restart.
And look at this. The leader of the race is now going to have to contend with 2 BMWs running at the back of the field. Will they pull over and give way? The first does. The second, of course, is Darren Law, you saw earlier, runs several laps down from the lead. But still, that allows Dominic Dobson a chance to close in. Another opportunity to win. 3 minutes to go. On to the inside. You got a glimpse of him there. And here comes Dobson. 2 laps to go. Now David Donohue has to contend with the slower BMW. On board, Dominic Dobson looking off the top of the car.
Under braking a little bit, but Randy told me earlier that he's got a little bit more horsepower than the Dodge, and they've got a little bit better handling. So obviously his package, once he gets out in the front, he can hold them off down those straightaways.
Ed DeLong just comes off the corner. We'll see the white flag as they come by this time, and it's Honda, Dodge. And both Donohue, as you can see, these are how the fans and the crews keep track of the sections of the course they can't see. They come on board the pit straight now. Donohue was closed in on the back end of this car of Dominic Dobson just a moment ago. But as they flash across the line with just 1 lap to go, Randy Pope still is in control.
Looks like Dominic's closed up a bit on Randy, but I don't know if 1 lap's going to be enough, because the straightaway is where he pulls away a little bit.
Got a glimpse of Millen and HARDMAN battling.
Millen, of course, is in the lone Toyota in this field, and again, that was a car that they brought over from Europe.
Again, I think they're closing in.
They are, Paul, but there's very few places from here forward to the start-finish line where you can actually pass. Look at Millen, locks him up. You think that was a little bit of his dirt tracking that he does in the rally cars in the tight speed where he won outright just a week ago.
He certainly showed Peter Hartman some style as he got into the corner there and held Hartman back. So here comes Randy Post. Unchallenged at the moment by Dominic Dobson. Dobson perhaps having to worry more about his teammate David Donohue just behind. Completing now the final lap. And there he comes, Randy Post, the Honda, flashes across the line. There's the crew, the new Speed Racing crew, as they acknowledge the victory. And Randy Post has now won 3 races in a row in the series. Followed by Dobson, then David Donohue. When we come back, you'll meet Randy Post. the winner of round number 7 of the North American Touring Car Championship.
We mentioned earlier that there are left-hand drives.